The Romanian cabbage rolls, aka sarmale, are irresistible for the Romanians. I haven't met a Romanian who doesn't crave for these traditional cabbage rolls. I'm bringing you the recipe that has been passed along in my family from generation to generation. This type of food was inspired by the Turkish and the Greeks who came to our country some hundreds and hundreds of years ago. You have the ingredients in the description of the video. The quantities are for 100 small to medium cabbage rolls. The first step is to prepare the filling. Peel and dice the onions. I tend to use this kind of grater when I have large quantities of veggies to chop. Just makes life easier. We add the diced onion in a large pan or a wok, together with some vegetable oil. Then we add the rice, the tomato sauce, 1 glass of water, the thyme and the pepper. We turn the heat to minimum and let it cook while stirring from time to time. We add some water until the rice is halfway cooked. All this should take about 15 to 20 minutes. We turn down the heat and let it cool down. At the time of shooting the video, we were preparing 200 sarmali for Christmas, as this dish is a must during this holiday, so we used double quantities. Next, we pour the mixture we have just prepared into a large bowl and mix with the meat. Moving on, let's talk cabbage. You need pickled cabbage, which is a bit sour and not too salty. The leaves must be thinner rather than thicker for best results. You can find bigger cabbages, that is preferable because you can use one leaf for multiple rolls. Let's get out the stub while cutting next to it in a circular motion. If your cabbage is too salty, then leave it in cold water for about 1 hour. After this, we unfoil it gently, one by one, starting from the middle, moving outwards. We keep the middle leaves for chopping. We take the leaves one by one and cut rectangles, depending on how big we want the sarmale to be. You don't need very large pieces, as we need the leaf to be just right for the rolls not to open during their boiling. Chop the cabbage middle and the leftovers to use it between the layers. Let's start wrapping. We put just a little bit of filling as not to let it escape from the cabbage leaf. Wrap it just 1.5 times, that should do it. You need about the width of a finger worth of leaf at the end, so we cut the excess off. We use our fingers for pushing the edges inside, thus we make sure that our cabbage rolls are not going to loosen up. We rest them on a tray. From now on, it's artwork only. Take your cooking pot, make sure it's a large one, and add the first layer of chopped pickled cabbage, some fresh or dried thyme, some bay leaves, and a few pieces of smoked pork meat. Then arrange the rolls starting from the exterior, going down to leaving no space between them. After each layer of rolls, repeat with the rest of the ingredients just as you did for the first layer. We finish up with the chopped cabbage. When you fill up the pot, make sure it's only 2/3 filled because while cooking, the filling rises and we're risk to make a mess around it. One more thing, check your pot before. It should fit in your oven. It happened once to us, so yeah, it can happen. We pour the water to the level of the composition. Some say it's better to pour hot water. Let's put the pot on a minimum to medium heat, having a lid on. The lid should breathe just a bit. For about 3 hours, let it cook while adding just enough water as not to cover the composition completely. We added water 3 times during this interval. After 2 hours or so, add the tomato sauce and the oil or the fat, plus some more water to cover it all. Now it's time to get it in the preheated oven at 150 Celsius or 300 Fahrenheit, or the minimum heat if you don't have an electric oven. We still have to add some water when we see it's necessary. Otherwise, it might get stuck to the bottom of the pot, especially if you have a traditional fire oven. For the electric oven, it's probably not necessary to pour water more than once. For the fire oven, do this several times because the water evaporates quicker. After around 3 hours of sitting in the oven, this wonderful dish is finally ready. The last time to pour water in the pot is half an hour prior to stopping the oven. The last layer of chopped cabbage should look something like this. Yeah, I know it's not easy to cook this, but the satisfaction you get in the end will prove the time spent is worth it. You'll probably need to give your full attention to the cabbage rolls during that day and try not to make any other plans.